Welcome to the UW 2010 Summer Podcast.
My name is Spencer Choquette. I am a sophomore at Nebraska Wesleyan University. I was a basketball intern with UW in 2009, and this is my story. In 2009, I was on many teams, as we all are at UW, and the third session, I was fortunate to be on a team that I really clicked with well, and although all the teams I was on, I really enjoyed being a part of. For some reason, this team, we just got along right from the get-go. Didn't have any trouble getting along with each other, didn't have any troubles. And our first week out, we went to a camp that was just tremendous. We had great volunteers and just a lot of great kids that made the camp really easy and a lot of fun to be around. But during that first week, we also found out that our team was going to be splitting up in the future, and it was something that we weren't very excited about to hear. I remember we were sitting in the van one day, and Sienna, Farley, Janae, and myself got the call from Sam telling us that we were going to be split up, and we didn't want to leave each other. So it was funny seeing all those grown adults sitting in a van, trying to figure out how we're going to stay together. Trying to think, well, this other team could maybe split up, and we could maybe we could convince Sam to get these other people to move around instead of having our team split up. But ultimately, in the end, we knew that God had a different plan for us, and that Sam would work it out according to how it should be. And in the end, we did not get to stay together, and for our final week of the third session, our group split, and it was a little disappointing at the time. When we found out our new teams, Sienna and I got moved, and we were with Nicole and Katie. And so we were excited to be a part of a new team, but also a little disappointed that we had to leave our old team. And finally getting into that final week of the summer, just coming off one of the best weeks that I had experienced yet to date in the summer. It was kind of a downer emotionally, I guess, because when we got to the camp, I just had a lot of struggle with the basketball side of things. The kids were tough to work with. They didn't want to listen to me. They were always doing their own thing, and you just didn't get the feeling that this is just completely awesome like I did the week before. And it was really tough to kind of try to focus on what God wanted us to do in that week. And I was really distracted with my own agenda, focusing on, how this isn't as good as I thought it was going to be, and I would rather be, back with Farley and hanging out with some of the, other people that were in my last group. But in the end, it worked out really well. My team, we had a great time to finish the week. We got to go skiing on the lake and just had a great time. And then with the camp and the kids, it was awesome when we finally got to share the gospel with them that day. For some reason, just during that day, the kids were very attentive. They listened, and they weren't screwing around as much. And the older kids really took it upon themselves to help out the younger kids listen. And one kid in particular who I had struggled with all week, just getting him to pay attention, getting him to do simple drills, and just getting him to listen, especially during Bible time. And that whole week, he was just a real struggle. And then finally during Bible time on Thursday, when we could share the gospel with the kids, he was just really zoned in, and he was focused on what I was saying, and I knew he understood what I was saying, and he asked a few questions at the end. He did not choose to accept Jesus into his heart that day, but I knew when I got done sharing that he had heard what I said, and that at least a seed had been planted, and that he had heard about Jesus, and he knew that God could be a part of his life in the future. And so even though the emotional part of it wasn't kind of like that emotional high that you get sometimes as it was the week before, I think God really used me in a miraculous way that last week, more so than I thought he was going to, or even allowed myself to be used in the beginning of the week. To finish my summer, just being able to connect with that kid, I think really made my summer. And God showed me that even though I can make friends and be a part of a great organization, that ultimately he's going to use me in ways that I don't plan on him using me, and in areas and in situations where I may think, God's not gonna use me here, or there's nothing for God to do here, but he's always got a place and a time to do his work.